So I picked me up a yz250 Yamaha to use as my new trail bike. And if you start looking at kickstands, they want like 160 bucks for a kickstand. That's just seems like it's pretty steep to me. That seems too high. So I'm just gonna make my own kickstand. So I grabbed myself an assortment of steel here. And then I've got a leftover trampoline spring. I did buy some kickstand springs. You can get like a 3-pack of 3 different kickstand springs for $7. So I got those on the way. But let's see what we can make out of this. Okay, so we're gonna use this bolt and this bolt, because looking at pictures of these things online, I think it should be pretty easy to make. We'll need a piece of angle iron, so I held myself one up here and marked it to kind of get me going here. Now we've got our angle iron cut here. I've put a mark right there. You can see that black Sharpie mark on the front and back, or the front and side of this. And that's kind of like showing me where I need to rip down this to kind of make this angle iron smaller, because you can see this face here. I want it to kind of sit in line with this. That way it just bumps up to this weld here and comes down following this cross member in the back of this weld, without making us stick out obscenely far, right? We want to be up tight to this. And then I did the same thing so we're not sticking back too far near the swing arm. So we're gonna shorten that up on each side. That should be the center of that first bolt. I went ahead and marked like the center for that. Okay, so I've made some cuts to it here. It should line up something like this once we drill some holes. We need it to be angle iron because we're going to add the kickstand portion to like the back of this. So that way we're not just stacking more stuff farther and farther out, getting where you're putting your legs and stuff. Okay, so here's our dry fit. Before I go any farther, I've got my holes drilled. I keep an assortment of grade 8 or the metric alternative to grade 8 hardware just on hand. So looks like these are probably like an 8mm bolt, just guessing, just looking at it. But that's how it fits so far. So I'm gonna have to come up with a little eyelet up here. I'll weld that on. That'll be the easy part. Then the bottom part's gonna get more complicated as far as like how we're attaching the kickstand coming off of it and how it rotates. Okay, so we've made our little ear here, got her all clamped up. I'm getting ready to do a little bit of welding here to get that attached. Well, that took all of about 15 seconds. So I ran a bead on both sides. It don't have to be the prettiest thing. It's just holding that spring. It's already going to be way too strong as it is, but I'll round this out so that we don't have any sharp edges next. Okay, I've got a piece of 1/4-inch steel here. The area that's marked black is the area I'll be keeping, and we're gonna cut it out so that we can attach it to the back of this angle iron back here, like so. And the idea is to drill a hole in the middle of this circle and then make it so that basically this material here, when we put our kickstand piece on there, it'll bump into this steel. That'll be the top of the hinge point that stops it, and ideally this will be the bottom. So swing up, swing down, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear and just kind of, you know, design and build. Alrighty, so got it cut out, slapped a little bead on there on each side. So that's what we look like now in the process. Well, so what I did next was, and probably nobody's going to have one of these but me because I'm an electrician, but this is a conduit bender for 1-inch EMT. Well, this is a piece of 3/4 black iron, so it fits right in the conduit bender, just like you would bend like 3/4 rigid conduit. So I put a little bend on it, and then I notched it, right, and then drilled a hole through it. Now, that being the case, here it is with like a bolt in it. So it, it kicks up and kicks down. So that's where we're at so far. With all the sunlight coming in the garage, kind of blinds the camera. So I wanted a little more bend on it because I bent that angle with the conduit bender, but down low I decided to cut the pipe and then weld it at a slant, so that way I get a little more angle out of it. And right now I'm getting ready to weld the foot on. Well, there it is all together and painted. I gotta say, it worked perfect. I took it for a ride. Man, this thing is gonna provide years of service. I mean, it holds the bike just right. It almost looks, with it being painted, it almost looks like something you'd purchase from somewhere. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Hopefully that somehow helps you guys. Maybe it gives you a couple of ideas and a direction to go in. And you don't have to have that conduit bender. You can do like I did with the second bend here. Just cut the pipe at an angle and then refit it and then weld it. Alrighty, good luck, guys.